What we are going to see now is about differentiation. How can a small business, how can it differentiate its products or services from all the other businesses that can compete with it? In microeconomics, there is a mathematical model with curves that makes a series of simplifications. Perhaps unconsciously we make the same simplifications many times. And one of those simplifications, one of the biggest and one that leads to more errors, is to think that consumers always buy, consume, decide their purchases for rational reasons. There is a principle that says that if the price of an item of good goes up, people buy less. If the price goes down, people will buy more. One says that is logical. But it is not so logical. Look carefully, for example, why there is Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, the day of, what do I know, a lot of things. In which, the products, certain products rise in price. In Chile, which is a Catholic country, for Easter the price of fish always goes up. And the same fish that was worth 1,000 yesterday is worth 3,000 today. If consumers were rational, people would take vacations in the low season, when airfare and accommodation and everything is cheaper. Why do not they do it? Why would they miss out on so much of the fun of going on vacation when everything goes out?
No one likes to arrive at a vacation spot that is dead, that doesn't have a single visitor.
From this we can draw a conclusion that is very interesting and should always be kept in mind. The consumer does not always buy for rational reasons. He does not always buy because there is a better price.
No siempre compra porque...
Even so, the consumer does not always buy for rational reasons. For the same product he may be willing to pay more money, as long as he perceives a certain difference in his favor, which may be a difference that is wholly in his mind. That's why marketing exists. That's why products with a lot of advertising, for example Swatch watches or Macintosh computers, are quite expensive, without any logical reason. No rational reason why they have such a price difference. They are made in China just like everyone else. However, they have a component that is the psychological component, and that component is not contemplated in the model, in the microeconomic equations, and despite that it has a great influence on the final prices. It could be said that many times people buy irrationally or for emotional reasons. I would even dare to say that most of the time we decide our purchases for emotional, impulsive or irrational reasons, and this is true for both products and services. Lesson number 1 to keep in mind. People don't always buy for rational reasons. Let's think that we want to sell cheaper than everyone else. According to the microeconomic model, according to the equations, when there is competition, when the competition works well, a price war occurs where everyone goes down their prices until it reaches an equilibrium situation where everyone sells at cost. Do you think that actually happens? Obviously not. Nobody goes to work just to pay their expenses. Nobody is philanthropic. These price wars, then, in the supposed perfect or close to perfection competition, never take place, but are resolved in other ways. Two very common paths. The first path is price collusion that agrees to charge a single price. For this reason, in cities where collective locomotion is provided by several independent companies and is not regulated, normally everyone charges the same price for the ticket, because they agree, talk and say we are going to collect this. Another way these price wars are resolved is through differentiation. Before getting to everyone lowering prices until reaching the cost, before reaching the cost, one or several of the actors always find a way to differentiate their product, and with the difference they can charge higher prices. People are willing to pay more for something if they believe the product has a difference and is worth paying more for. The second conclusion would then be that for a universal subsistence company, the most convenient strategy would be by differentiation or by focus. Suppose I choose differentiation, so I do as we said in the previous class. I'm going to bring a new product that nobody has. I'm going to bring alfajores de pica. No one else sells alfajores de pica. What is going to happen? I arrive with my new product, and if it starts to go well for me, the other sellers will notice and they will bring exactly the same product as me, and we return to the same thing. Imagine that I choose the focus strategy and say I'm going to go to a beach where no one else is selling, where no one is interested in going. Very well. I'm starting to do well. I buy a truck, a van. What is going to happen? That the others are going to see that I'm doing well and they're going to sell next to me. Total. I already made the expense of introducing my products. The others hang up. Differentiation is very easy to say. It costs nothing to say that you have to differentiate yourself, but it is very difficult to achieve, to implement. It's not easy to differentiate your product or service in the real world. Large companies have the advantages of patents. They have their product protected by a patent. Let's say a company that sells transgenic seeds. A company that sells software has their product, or a pharmaceutical company has their product protected by a patent. But they also have an army of lawyers dedicated around the world to protect patents. Nothing is gained by having a patent. Otherwise you will have the lawyers to protect the patent in all the markets where you are interested. Therefore, patent protection is absurd for subsistence sole proprietorships. I met people who have their own small business and who have invented very ingenious things and have spent years trying to patent it. Absurd. It does not get anything. By now I think you have realized that differentiation and focus are very easy strategies to recommend. However, they are very difficult to implement, especially for subsistence sole proprietorships that do not have the means to patent their products. The number one enemy of differentiation is copying. I go to a remote place, it's good for me. Another comes and stands next to it. I bring a unique product, it works for me. Another comes along and sells the same product next door. How can I protect myself against copying? Very difficult. We are talking about all this as products, but we must not forget that the services we sell are also products.
A consultancy is a product, an electrical maintenance service is a product.
They are also products, and what is true for physical goods is also true for services. If someone makes an innovative service, usually another will come along and do the same. Does this mean then that there is no way for a small company to differentiate itself? No. There is a way. It's a tough way, but it's the way that small businesses, subsistence sole proprietorships typically use to differentiate themselves. And that way is by acquiring a reputation. Reputation is hard to copy, but it's very hard to build. Finally, we come to the most important point of this class, which is the conclusion that one of the few and perhaps the only ways for a subsistence sole proprietorship to differentiate itself is by building a reputation that sets it apart from other businesses. Reputation cannot be copied. That is one of the great advantages. This is such an important aspect that we are going to leave it reserved, and we are going to dedicate the entire commentary to this class, to why and how a reputation is built and what is the importance that it can have for our business. I wait for you then in the comment. See you. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.